Hello and welcome back to Flight Sim World, or should I say welcome to Flight Sim World Phase 2. This video is the first video out of Early Access. I know I had a video yesterday which was the last video of Early Access, so today you're going to get another video. So that's 3 videos in 1 week. That's a record for me for Flight Sim World, and in this video I'm going to be talking about 2 things. 1, I'm going to be talking about Phase 2, and 2, I'm going to be talking about Community Update 16, which is the latest in the community updates that has been released, which is the first out of Early Access, which means this simulator is now officially going somewhere. And I'll be talking about what Phase 2 is going to bring, including messages from Stephen Hood, the executive producer, and I'll be looking at all the updates, like I said, on Community Update 16, whilst flying one of these. Let's get my head tracking up so I can show you around this aircraft. Somehow, how do I do this? There you go. So that is the Piper Cub in an amphibious variant. Now, you know what the good thing is about this? It's no longer a tail dragger. I am terrible with tail draggers. Now I can actually fly this aircraft. So let's see if I can fly this. We're starting off in Melbourne, Australia, just like we were for the last 2 videos. I thought we ended Early Access there. Let's start it there. Let's start Phase 2 there, that is. And of course we've got some, if I look down, can I do that? You can just about see some water out in the distance. We're actually going to be flying around Melbourne and then landing on the water. So let's get ourselves back inside. Let me get set up quite nicely over here. Nope, that's not, well, that's a good view. It's a very good view, but that's not what I want. I'd rather have a, yeah, that's a bit better. Can I look left? Can I look right? I can sort of look to the left, and I can definitely look right. That's weird. Okay, given my microphone's in the way, that's very, very weird. But anyway, here we go. So, obviously, the first thing I'm going to talk about is going to be Phase 2. So I'm going to be looking at Phase 2. Once we get ourselves in the air, I'll be talking a little bit about Phase 2. Now, the problem is I've never flown this aircraft, which is going to be interesting. At least I don't remember or recall ever flying this aircraft. So, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen here? I certainly don't, and I'm actually going to pop up. Is that good enough? That's probably good enough for me to read. I've just put my phone in front of me in a way that I can probably read a little bit better. Why am I over to the left, or is it just, I don't know. Anyway, let's get ourselves underway. So let's see if I can take this aircraft off. Obviously a lot of rudder needed on this one. No need for flaps, I don't think. And up we go. Nope, down we come again. No, up we go. Eventually we'll get there. There we go. Fantastic. We are up, up, and away. Not bad. Not bad at all. In fact, this is a very easy aircraft to take off. Slow it down now. Obviously, we don't want to drain all fuel sumps before first flight of each day. I haven't done that. Alright, so now we're out over the water, but we are going to be turning in towards Melbourne over there, as you can see. So we're going to fly over Melbourne once again. 90 knots seems to be a good speed here. Let's crank that up just a little bit. Everything seems... Okay, so I'm going to read what Steve Hood has said. I'm not going to do it in his accent or his inflections, although I have a similar accent, but not in his inflections anyway. I think that would be a little bit poor from me. So let's just read this out. So this was from the news that came out, I think two days ago. You know what? I need to readjust this once again. There we go. All right, and the news says, "Hello everyone. Some big news today. I wanted to use this developer update post to talk more in detail about Flight Sim World moving on to Phase 2 of development. Since our debut last May, we've introduced major updates, for example advanced weather and our cold and dark implementation, and made over 500 bug fixes, tweaks and numerous other alterations based on your feedback." This is very true. They did do a lot of that. We've seen the cold and dark. I did a whole bunch of videos on that. I do use cold and dark every now and then. Obviously not on video because I don't want to spend 15 minutes on the ground often just well, starting an aircraft up. It doesn't really take 15 minutes, but sometimes it takes about 10 minutes, and I don't really want to be doing that this whole time. So, continuing on with what he said, with the release of Update 16 today, we've squashed more bugs. So I'll be talking about, like I said, I'll be talking about Update 16 shortly. We should be alright around 100 knots, but I do want to slow us down a little bit. Here we go. Adjusted the avionics and made numerous alterations to mission difficulty, all based on what you've been telling us. Now, there's really nothing in the way of avionics here. We've got a little bit there with the radio, and that's about it. So, not much in this with the avionics, so there's nothing we can really say about that for this particular aircraft anyway. So I'll go through the full update notes in a bit. It does mention you can read this full update notes, but this is what I want to talk about. Flight Sim World has left early access and now is in phase 2 of development. This is big. Whilst in early access, we've been extending the underlying technology and working with select partners on the SDK. Yes, they have. This has been released not only to developers but made available to you. It has. The SDK is out. I have been using it. I've been doing a bit of work with it. Nothing I can show you at the moment, but eventually I should be able to show you something, hopefully, soon. If not, oops. But I am trying to get something going. Our intention was always to cement a stable platform and come out of early access. It's been a great environment in which to develop, but if truth be told, can all too easily become a comfortable home you never want to leave. We don't want to get too comfortable. Now this, I feel, is a very good approach from the developers of Flight Sim World. It is true that early access can become a little bit too comfortable. You can end up spending all the time in the world on early access. As you can see, I have fixed my head tracking a little bit. It's not brilliant still, but I have fixed it a little bit. It's not as jittery as it was the last time out, and that is with me looking down at my phone and around everywhere, so it is getting there. Right, let's slow this aircraft down once again. There we go. And I'm just keeping this trimmed very, very nicely. Anyway, with that in mind, we're switching our focus to some of our longer term goals, meaning there won't be as many quick updates. Now, for some people, this might be they might be sad about this. They're saying, oh, well, the updates are gone. Well, there are going to be updates, but not as quickly as expected. I was talking to Chris the other day, one of the PR members of the Dovetail team, and the community managers and all that kind of stuff. So I was talking to him the other day, and he was just explaining to me what they're looking to do and how these updates, what they're planning to get going on these updates. So obviously they're going to be larger, more impactful, in his own words, more impactful changes and big feature add-ons. Steve Hood's, that is. We've got a lot planned for 2018, including IFR implementation. This is big. IFR implementation is going to be a really, really big one for me. Expanding the core fleet of aircraft. Again, I will be getting onto this in a bit. Improving the look of the world, live weather, and my own personal pet project, improvements to ATC, to name a few. Now, I've already heard his thoughts on improvements to ATC. There is a lot he wants to do with ATC, and I am really hoping that he manages to pull this off, because I think it could be absolutely remarkable what he does with ATC. I am really looking forward to that, but I'm also looking forward to the world textures being improved and things like that, stuff that I have mentioned a number of times. And of course, you guys in the comments have started mentioning as well, going, you know, this looks, I think someone said, why does this look a bit washed out compared to the sky? It just, things don't seem to match. And I was explaining how, you know, the shaders are changing right now, and they haven't all completely got through all the changes, so that's what's going on there. I love the houses here, I really, really do. They look fantastic. They really look fantastic. And this aircraft is a doddle to fly. It honestly is. I didn't think this aircraft would be quite this easy. But it is. Whoa. Little bit unstable on the rudder, I must say. Yeah, it's very unstable on the rudder. There we go, that should clear it up a little bit. Right, so that looks pretty good. So let's see. Continuing with what he said, I've said that I want to build a platform that will stand the test of time over the next 5 or 10 years. Again, this is good news for us, because we want a simulator that is going to last a long time. And 5 to 10 years, I'd say, is a good length for a simulator. Look at Flight Simulator 10, for example. Came out in 2006, and until 2015 or 16, it was the go-to simulator for any ESP-based platform, until Prepared obviously came along. Let's fly between those two buildings. That's a nice gap I can get through. And you know what? I might even attempt to land on this on this river as opposed to out there. I was going to land out there. You see out there? I'm looking out there. Yeah, I was going to land out there, but no, I'm going to land on this river. Also, someone told me where Albert Park was. It's on the shoreline around a lake. So, who knows? I might actually find Albert Park by mistake. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, back to this. So, 10 years, I think that's pretty good, and the journey we're on together is far from over. So let's see, the next stage of development is a necessary change of gear, so let me take a moment to answer a few questions. So now I'm just going to paraphrase half the things he said. Question, have we finished developing? Basically it says no, we've got a suite of exciting updates planned. The small development team is in regular discussion on what they want to work on next. They're eager to share with you, and some of this is going to be in a few moments time. I'm going to speak about them. We just want to take a moment to stress how grateful myself and the team are for your support, the constructive feedback. It's been invaluable to create that foundation, and it's the beginning of a new phase with less smaller updates but larger updates. So about those features, what's next? One of the most exciting things for us, this is going to be brilliant. What's coming in phase 2? Well, we've talked about our work in early access, laying the foundations. Take the advanced weather, for example. They implemented True Sky with all those foundations for that. It wasn't easy, but they managed to get it done. Now they're going into dynamic weather. So the next release, the next major release, which is coming out on February 1st, and I will be making a video either on February 1st to come out on the 2nd, or just after that, or if I manage to get hold of maybe an early access to that, I'll just make a video so it does come out on February 1st. This should be easy to fly between. So I'll make the video so it does come out on February the 1st. Hopefully, if I can manage to do that, I'll talk to them and see what I can do. It's going to bring dynamic weather. This forms the basis of the technology that will have the power for future implementation of live weather. Now, I know in my comments, people have been saying live weather. I want live weather. I want this type of weather. I want that type of weather. I want changing weather. Well, look, February 1st, dynamic weather is coming, and it looks like live weather is going to be following suit. I don't know when, but I'm assuming probably just maybe a couple of months behind that. So dynamic weather will be done, sorted out, figured out, bug fixed, and then we'll go on to live weather. That looks a little bit lifeless, I must admit. In fact, all those buildings look really lifeless. They look like they've been charred. What happened? I don't know what happened there. Very weird. Look, some of those buildings genuinely look charred. That's really odd. Right, let me climb back up to a decent height anyway, as we go over, I think, what is Melbourne FC once again. Alright, so, dynamic weather. So we're going to be able to see dynamic weather where, you know, weather goes, it can go bad or it can go good. The clouds are going to break. As it says, the clouds break and you spot an opportunity to climb on top. So this is something I'm looking forward to. I know I'm dipping the aircraft low, it's fine. I'm not exceeding, I'm just going into the caution range, I'm not exceeding that at all. I want to keep the aircraft fairly low. It's a nice flight over here at the moment. That's not all it says. We want to give you more options about what you fly in Flight Sim World, starting with the addition of 2 new variants of the PA-18 Super Cub. That's exactly what we've got here. We've got the Amphibious variant, which is what I'm flying, and the Tundra Tire version. So the Tundra Tire versions is going to be for rough terrain. I might try that in the next video, actually. So we're going to fly over some rough terrain, see if you can land on rough terrain or something like that. I'm not exactly sure how that will work. I might not try it unless I've got myself, well, sort of worked out on how it works. And of course we've got this amphibious variant, which we are going to be trying a water landing on. So I want to see what the water landing is going to be like. It should be interesting. I've ditched an aircraft in water before, so let's see if I can ditch the aircraft in water, or should I say land the aircraft in water properly. And of course we've got rudder, so I'll be able to see what the aircraft's like. Is it maneuverable on the water? I don't know. Next up, so what about the long haul? No great simulator was built in a day, and we've got ambitious development goals. So here we go. Some of the goals that we're looking at. IFR functionality to the sim. This is something I know in my comments I've just been seeing. People are annoyed. Why is there no IFR functionality? Well, yeah, you have the right to be annoyed, but good news is it's coming in. I'm looking forward to seeing IFR functionality. Obviously, it's going to have the ATC coming in with that. One, like he said, his own personal project, his pet peeve was not having good ATC in any sim. So he wants to bring back some really good ATC. So I'm looking forward to that. I think IFR, and with a realistic ATC and IFR, I think we're going to be looking at something really, really incredible. So he says, in his own words, I want to build an ATC that doesn't take you out of the experience, but rather gives you goosebumps. Okay, fair enough. I've long felt that more complex aircraft, realistic weather, instrument flight, and a modern ATC system would combine to provide that wow moment. He's not wrong there. He's definitely not wrong there. In all honesty, I find radio comms one of the more interesting elements of flight, even in light aircraft, and that simply isn't portrayed well enough in any flight simulator. Now, again, I could probably say, yeah, you're right. Compared to something like VATSIM, you know, the simulators, they're okay. They do their job. But compared to VATSIM, and when you actually have actual air traffic controllers, human air traffic controllers, you see there is a stark difference. So hopefully this is going to bridge that. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to this, but of course from a developer's perspective that is going to be quite difficult to implement. It's going to take a lot of AI programming and stuff like that, but I am looking forward to that, and I can understand, again, from a developer's perspective, having experience in programming and stuff, how difficult that could possibly be. What else are we going to have? Right, yes, there's going to be 2 additions to the stock fleet of aircraft, starting with a jet. We know what the jet, we know we're going to get a business jet, the first jet aircraft. I'm looking forward to that. In fact, right now, whoever's watching this, leave it in the comments box right now. What jet do you want? What jet do you expect to be in this sim? Some people have been saying it could be a Piper, the Piper jet that was cancelled, or some variant of that. I can see why you would think that, because there's been a lot of Piper aircraft. Personally, I think it's going to be a Learjet 45. But again, I could be completely wrong, but I hope it's a Learjet 45. Some people have been going, it could be the Cessna CJ series, the Citations. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind the CJ4. I think that would be pretty cool to have that as a jet. Beechcraft, there are a few Beechcraft jets that you can have. That would be pretty interesting as well. I think, is it the Phenom? Is it Phenom's one of them? So I think a Phenom 100 or Phenom 300, in my personal opinion. I think Phenom 300 would be nice. So it could be any one of those, and I think I would be fairly happy with any one of those. Then there's also a mystery aircraft. So let me know what you think the mystery aircraft's going to be. I think that's going to be the A318. I know I said when I was first talking about the jet that I felt it could be an Airbus. I feel that mystery aircraft may be an Airbus. However, I'm also still looking to see, as I mentioned in the last video, the likes of A2A add to their products, or add to their simulators, or should I say simulator range, by having their products on Flight Sim World. I would like to see that. I genuinely would like to see that, because I think it's kind of important to have the quality of A2A, especially if they've got AccuField. That means they've got contact with A2A, and to have that quality of A2A in Flight Sim World, and have the Cessna in the way it is portrayed in, for example, Flight Simulator 10, I think that would be absolutely brilliant. So that's what I am looking forward to there. And that pretty much brings me to the end of the Phase 2 talk. That's what we're getting. So we know dynamic weather, 1st of February. We know there's a business jet coming. Don't exactly know where or when. We've got the mystery aircraft coming, which could be a jet, which could be a prop, could be a warplane, could be anything. It really could be anything. We've got texture improvements. Looks like they're coming. Looks like performance improvements are on their way. Looks like we've got the IFR flight on their way. We've got a new ATC on its way. So there is a lot going through, and they all are major updates. So I'm actually quite impressed with that. Let's trim this aircraft, because I just let go of the stick and that aircraft just wanted to fall out of the sky right there. So let's get this. There we go. That's better. Okay, so that now brings me on to Phase 2 update notes and Community Update 16. So let's talk about Community Update 16. We're talking about the changes they've made to the aircraft, or certain aircraft, and then of course we'll mention this aircraft last, as this is the one we're flying. And anything that there is a major update to, I'll probably be over the next few weeks actually looking at that aircraft and saying, yes, they changed this, let's have a closer look at it, because I know somebody said it would be nice if we could see the changes on the aircraft. So in this one, we'll talk about the changes and of course look at this particular aircraft, and then other aircraft changes I'll probably cover in a different video. I'll just mention them over here. So let's fly back towards Melbourne. This is a really nice plane to fly. I am incredibly surprised. I thought this would be difficult to fly. I thought it'd have high drag configurations, but no, it's actually really nice to fly. feels good as well. Feels really smooth on the flight. And looking around, I must admit, I feel like I'm getting better frames. I do feel like I'm getting better frames right now, particularly over the last video. Now, that might just be this aircraft, though. Literally might just be this aircraft. We'll find out. We will certainly find out. So let's go on with the notes of Community Update 16. For all aircraft, improved appearance and clarity of gauge glass surfaces. Yeah, they look a little bit clearer. Before, they seem to have like a weird haze over them, so that's fine. I can accept that. Improved appearance of windshield glass surfaces. I can't really see the glass surface here, so I can't really say anything about that. Keypad 5 now centralizes all control surfaces, inclusive of elevators. Okay, I've never tried this. I've never ever done that before, so I'm not too sure. Let's press L. Should I get on? Pick up all the lights? I don't even know. I'm trying to have a look at the lights. Localized cockpit tooltips for English, French and German. Fine. Shift L now restricted to toggling cockpit and panel lights. Okay, so now we've got Shift L, which only does certain lights. That's great. I like that. Magnetostates are now saved across flights. Alternate air, carburetor heat and master device are now tied to engine device, so the engines will no longer fail under cold weather conditions. Thank goodness for that. Although I have never had an engine failure under cold weather conditions, I am probably just lucky. Oh, stop looking around like that. That looks so good. I want that in Britain. I want houses to look like this in Britain. You know, all our semi-detached houses and detached houses could look like this. I think it would work wonderfully. And then we just need terraced houses and townhouses, and we'd be fine. I really want to see it like that. Okay. Next up, we've got now this one I do not like. I want Dovetail Games, if you're watching this, please revert this, or I have misunderstood. Cockpit panel lights are now automatically applied and disabled. Automatically applied and disabled on day-night transitions. I do not want that. I don't want it to be automatic. I want to have to do this manually. I want to be able to leave my cockpit panel lights on all day if I want to. I don't want this to be automatic. Please revert that. That is a bad update right there. That one there is bad. Reference speeds and contact points updated across the aircraft, with AccuField settings updated to match reference speeds. I'm happy with that. Better contact points, better landings. I had a feeling that there was a bug with one aircraft at some point, which I believe they fixed some while ago. I think it was the Malibu Mirage, where one of the contact points, I think it was on the port wheel, was just the main wheel, that is. It felt like it was not in the right place, and you'd always end up with the aircraft feeling like it's dipped on the left hand side. At least that was from my own perspective. Maybe that was just me with incredibly poor flying. I don't know. Right, going on to the Diamond 40 and the Diamond 42. So the Diamond 40 improved raindrop windshield mapping. Fine. We'll probably be able to check that out if we went on a bit of a setting in the rain, a bit of some wet weather. Maybe once the dynamic weather update comes out. Fixed inconsistencies with mixture checks on cold and dark checklist. I've never actually experienced this. Updated the reference speeds on the handbook. Fine. Prop animation corrected, appearance improved. ASI reference aligned with G1000's readings. Fine. I think I may have noticed that was wrong. The airspeed indicator wouldn't match. I think I may have noticed that at some point. Player can now interact with Horizon emergency power switch. Okay. Prop feather functionality added. Great. Rear wheel contact points have been refined. Improved the appearance of autopilot lights and buttons, and improved the ambient occlusion mapping on the cockpit's lower panel. Okay. All stuff that looks to be partly functionality, partly visual. Great. The DA42 has updated reference data again and added gauge helper tooltips. Okay. Oh, we could have ditched it right there. Now let's fly around. Now let's go around this. Ooh, no. I want to fly between those two buildings, between these charcoal buildings. I don't know what's happened here. I really don't know what's happened here. PA-18 is this one, so we're not going to go on to this right now. We're going to come back to that in a minute. PA-28, that's the Cherokee. Audio panel updated to allow key presses. Great. Analog clock now shows the correct time. Colesman calibration improved for both inches of mercury and millibar scales. I think I pointed that out at one point, that it didn't seem to match. at all. Turn indicator now compatible with a failure feature. Not sure what this is. Prevent GNS 430 from being selected as a 2D panel, and the KN62 display has been adjusted to improve appearance. So this is something we can take a look at some point too. Right, how am I going to navigate this? Oh, some cars are just appearing out of nowhere down there. Look at that. Yeah, I think I can get through that gap there. I feel like that's a reasonable gap to fit through for an aircraft like this. Yeah, I don't see a problem flying an aircraft like this through that gap. I'm going a little bit quiet now, just to ensure that I do get it through. Ooh, maybe, ooh, okay. No, I can get it through. I can get it through. There we go. Nice and easy. Great. Alright, continuing on, we've got the PA-34 Seneca. Everyone loves the Seneca. Audio panel updated to allow key presses. Vacuum annunciator, trigger point and flap annunciator logic has been refined. Contact points now allow for a gear-up landing. That should be interesting. And tweaked interior dome light to reduce nose reflections. Okay, there is one thing I need you guys to do on the PA-34. Dovetail, if you are watching this, I need you to look at the ILS indicator for the glide slope. You cannot see it. That needs to be a different color. The color is wrong on that. You cannot see that. It's very, very difficult to see. You have to really look closely in, almost like this. Hang on a second. Like that, literally, to be able to see it. So I need that. I really highly suggest that that gets fixed. That would be absolutely great. I've lost the river. I'm going to do a bit of a climb now so I can find the river. Let's get ourselves climbing up a bit. So that's for that. The PA-46, which is the Malibu we had in the last video. Alternator added to cold and dark checklist. Great. Pitch trim wheel animation is reversed. I never noticed it because I never looked down at the pitch trim. Updated the reference data again. Audio panel functionality improved to allow for key presses. That seems to be across all the aircraft. DC ammeter now shows correct value when hovered over. Great. Heading knob mouse wheel functionality has been corrected. Fixed the autopilot needle oscillation when reaching target altitude, and resolved issue with landing lights LOD. Okay. The RV7, which is the little kit plane, the one that we do stunts in, that I took in the Grand Canyon last time. The nose wheel steering has been restored. So something probably went wrong with the nose wheel steering at some point, which I never noticed. Improved raindrop windshield mapping. Autopilot heading and altitude hold now fully functional. Great. Audio panel functionality improved to allow for key presses once again. Now we've got the avionic systems. So we've got the G1000. The flight director indicator has been added to the PFD. The nearest function now displays on the first push of the nearest soft key. The FPL text legibility has been improved. The annunciator box no longer expands height by itself. Clock display improvements, and on the Diamond aircraft, the audio panel now functions. Fantastic. The GNS 430. We're going to have to check all these in some future videos. The DTO pop-up legibility has been improved. Map view has been restored. FPL screen has been decluttered. The procedure and CDI buttons are now consistent across 3D and 2D panels. We've got the procedure page made clearer, and on the PA-34, the CDI and localizer functions have been unified on the G500 and the GNS 530. This is good. I want to still see the ILS glide slope indicator. I have lost that river. I know it was this way. I'm almost certain of it. So I'm going to turn around once again. Then we're going to start doing a circle as we come back for this. Right. The G500 and the GNS 530. That's got the FPL screen decluttered again. So a lot of clutter has been cleaned up. The DTO page has been cleaned up. 2D version now emulates the 3D version. This is something I did notice at one point that they want right. The G500 and the GNS 530 course deviation indicator and the V localizer functions are unified. Once again, the procedure page has been made clearer. So this is pretty much just like the GNS 430, and the aircraft pointer vertical offset now corrected for north up view. The M803 chronometer. Outside air temperature readings have been corrected. Do we have one of them in here? I can't see one. No, I actually can't see one. Right, so not in here. Not in this one. I feel like I have done something incredibly wrong here. Hey, are those textures loading in? Oh, that's why. There's the river. I see it. I'm approaching it from the completely wrong side. Great. Those textures look like they're loading in now. Why did they take so long to load in? Or as I get closer, it looks like they've got an alternate texture that's clashing with it, which is giving it the dark look. Because from here, they look fine. They really look fine. I'm talking about the skyscrapers over there in I suppose, is it downtown Melbourne? Right, the KAP-140 and the KFC-225, not the McDonald's. If nav signal is lost, autopilot regresses to heading mode. That's good. Autopilot vertical speed and altitude mode functionality have been corrected. Heading no longer cancels other modes. Oh, this is something that I have had a huge issue with. If you watch my previous videos, I have had numerous arguments with my aircraft that every time I press the heading button, it cancels the other mode, or if I press the vertical speed button, it cancels the other mode. So that's a big fix for me. That really is an important fix. Yeah, look at those. They look a lot better from this distance. Interesting. There's the river I want to land on, by the way. The KX-155 electrical failures now disable the LCD display. Clever, good. The RDR-2000 now displays terrain and alert information. Weather is not currently supported. I hope that's coming soon, especially it says currently. And the CIS-55X autopilot value input values, or sorry, value inputs aligned right so they don't fall off the screen, and the altitude mode pitch trim indicator now works correctly. There's also been a number of updates to the lessons, so that's lesson 2 on the Eagle Pilot School, lesson 7, Wings Flight Academy, lessons 4, PPL 1, 2, LAPL 2, the DA42 checkout, the MEPO 3, cross control, time pressure, low and slow. So basically a whole bunch of stuff has been fixed up on the missions. UI arrow keys as well as the Alt-GR key now produce correct results in the settings menu. Loading screens have been updated. I did see a new loading screen. Compass waypoint marker now flashes when the compass is shown and when the waypoint marker changes. Great. Remove the purple bar from the log window but not the ATC window. Anti-aliasing drop down strings changed to off and MSAA, so this is just in the settings. We can go to the engine and then we'll go to this one over here. So this has been a huge update. So the engine, now these are all great. Reduced pixelation artifacts seen intermittently with the sun at cloud edges. This is something we saw when I was on a run looking for Mount Hood. I saw this a number of times, and maybe somebody, I don't know whether somebody pointed it out on that video. So that is now gone. That's great, or reduced at least. Resolved white and black silhouetting seen intermittently with trees and mountains on the horizon. This is another issue we were talking about. I had a feeling it had something to do with the ambient occlusion or something. I don't exactly know what it was, but we are going to explore this in the next few videos because I'm going to be going out there to some mountain ranges or to some hills, and I expect to not see this issue. And if I do, well, I'm going to have to tell them about it. If I do see this issue. Resolved instances of aircraft tail corruption seen intermittently when returned from the settings menu. I've not ever noticed this. Reduced aliasing on the airport fences. I have noticed this. Reduced scene object texture cache size to reduce scene object pop-in. No, things still pop in. Unfortunately, I don't think that one's worked so well. At least I can't see maybe here. I'll try out in London. Maybe it'll work better in London. I don't know. Introduce the option to enable SSAO, which I have now enabled, and it does make a difference. It really does make a difference. Things look a little bit better. They really do look a little bit better. I'm actually quite impressed. Still a little bit washed out, if you look at that, but a lot better. Very, I would say almost realistic. We're getting there. We're definitely getting there here. They've got borderless window display settings, which is great for some people who record, and for those of you who have been asking about other joysticks. Static X56 Rhino HOTAS controller and the CH product yoke have now got default config setups. The static yoke and rudders, the Mad Cat Cyborg controllers, which I used to have one of them. The X52 and X52 Pro, which I've got, default configs for that. Fixes crash seen in wobbly cam caused by infinitely increasing camera values when the FPS is low. Resolved infrequent live lock screen when interacting with GDI panels. I don't know what that is. Pausing the game during cold and dark no longer resets a checklist, but I'm going to pause the game now. What happens? No, they still have this. I don't like that. Can you get rid of that, please? If you can get rid of that, I will be pretty happy. Extended flight time to allow correct logging of flight times when loading saved flights, and various localization fixes. So that's that. And last but not least, we can go over this particular aircraft in itself. Obviously, we've got the two variants that we've introduced, or Dovetail have introduced, and flying the amphibious variant once again. And we have got on this aircraft improved LOD transitioning. The KX-155 com nav unit has now been made compatible with cold and dark. That's that one right there. You can just see that with the LCD displays. Turn indicator is now compatible with the failure feature. Great. Strobe lights are now disabled if the battery is off. Colesman operation corrected and calibrated. Improved smaller registration appearance. Add click point added along the lower door edge to aid with closing. Great. And corrected gap in the rear of the lower door. Okay, I can't really see a gap, but perhaps there was a gap. Alright, and with all that being said, that brings me to the end of both the introduction to Phase 2 and taking a look at... taking a look at Community Update 16. So, with that being said, it's time to land this aircraft. This ought to be fun. This ought to be really fun. Like I said, for those of you who do like to see me check all these things out on camera, I will be over the next few videos taking a look at each one of those aircraft and seeing if things have been fixed and what still needs to be fixed, and of course having a look at the various different things with regards to the engine, example, trees on the horizon and all that kind of stuff. So it's all coming, so you guys will be able to enjoy all of that. I am using this method right now to slow us down as we descend. So currently we're at 90. We're going to do a nice loop as we come down to 1,000 feet. This is good. I feel like we've got a really good descent going on here. We're not completely at idle yet. Looking good. Looking good. I wonder though, I do wonder if the fix has been done on the tree tops, on the mountains. I wonder if that fix is also active for the likes of when we go into clouds, because I think it's the same issue. I do feel it's the same issue. There's our flaps. Whoa, that really pitched that nose up. And we're now at 60. This aircraft picks up speed remarkably well. We're going to land at about... We're going to land very slow, actually, because I don't know what the capabilities are of this aircraft on water. So we're going to be landing very slow. Right, we're going to clear that bridge, and we are lined up for landing. Right, so all we need to do here is get ourselves clear of that bridge. There we go. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be very fun. So hopefully you guys have made it to the end of this video. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. And like I said, again, I will be checking everything out. And I will be keeping on top of Dovetail's updates. And I will be keeping on top of everything they do. And hopefully showing everything as it comes out. And making my own opinions, my own comments on it. Dovetail, yeah, I talk to Dovetail a fair amount, but that doesn't mean that they influence anything I do. I am completely in charge of what I do. Right, here we go. Time to bring this aircraft down. Oh, this is nice. You know, the fact that I can actually bring this aircraft down to water is special. Is something special. Never done a water landing before. In fact, I used to avoid this even in Flight Simulator 10. I never used to land on water. I think I did it twice. And obviously I've done the one ditch in the Malibu doing one of the missions on the epic approaches. Right, so what we want to do is we really want to shave off speed here. So if we go right out there, there we go. really shave off the speed. We are down in the water, I think. We are, and interestingly enough, the water goes up. I don't recall water doing this in particular. But we're now... Yeah, we've got rudder control. There we go. I am now on the water. Now, interestingly enough, I'm being pulled over to one side, but I can... Yeah, I'm essentially skidding the plane right now. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Flight Sim World. Leave a comment in the comments box below. I have no idea how long this video was, but it is all going out in one video. Oh, that's weird. Surely that... There we go. That's better. Now I've got much more control. Okay, so that was even weirder. There's a bug. There's a bug for you guys. Right, so if I was to do this, I should just be able to go over this. Yeah, I could just go out and about. And yeah, I am now on the water. How nice is that? That's lovely. That really is lovely. That might even be the thumbnail. Oh, well, not that way, actually. Maybe that way. That might even be the thumbnail. I think that looks quite nice. Like I said, thank you. Ooh, no, not like that. Come on, give me a good angle. Okay, so water, it does need to be improved a little bit. Does need to be improved, but let's see what we can get out of this. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Flight Sim World. Leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think. What else is there? Yeah, like I said, I'm going to be looking at all the various different parts of what Flight Sim World is bringing over the next few weeks. So obviously with dynamic weather coming out, we'll be looking at dynamic weather with all the different bits and bobs that are coming out, and everything that we've got to check, everything we've got to test from Community Update 16. I'll be looking at all of that, so make sure you do stay tuned for that. And last but not least, do support me on Patreon. Link to that is in the description box below. I would massively appreciate your support. Ooh, bit of a bump there. It would help me out a huge amount, and of course it will give you a chance to join my Discord server, and on there we can have all sorts of discussions. And look at that, I can just take off straight off the water, or not. Come on, straight off the water once again. How lovely. That's fantastic. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time in Flight Sim World.